All right, what's going on, everybody? This one is a freaking important video, okay? So I'm going to start with a question. If I co-sign for someone, does it affect my ability to buy a house? Yes. Yes, 1,000 times. 1,000 times yes. Okay, I'm dealing with this right now with a client, and I feel awful for him. I'm going to give you a scenario, all right? In this scenario, it could be used for a car. This scenario could be used for just about anything, but this scenario actually took place with a house. You have a mom. Mom's actually a real estate agent. Mom should know. Mom's a real estate agent. Mom has 2 daughters. One daughter gets married, struggling to purchase a home. Other daughters put together, makes good income, has low debt, has great credit. Mom brings daughter in, gets her to go in on the loan with other daughter A. And here it is. Few years later, the good daughter, the one that has good credit, that has good income, that has low debt, is screwed. So let's break it down with this scenario. You know what? I'm going to explain a few things, and then I'll go back to this scenario. So just remember that. Two sisters, A and B. And oh man, I feel so bad for sister B, because she's screwed. She can't buy a house because sister A screwed her. All right, we're gonna get to it. So co-signing. Look, it's not harmless. It's not harmless. It is not harmless. I'm gonna tell you from my mouth to your ears, if you're watching this and you're considering co-signing for somebody, or somebody asks you to co-sign, it's gonna sound mean. It's gonna sound heartless. It's going to sound just freaking shameful. But it is a truth. If you don't have the ability to buy a refrigerator on your own, if you don't have the ability to buy a car on your own, if you don't have the ability to buy a house on your own, you should probably pause and focus on, what do I got to do in order to get the thing that I want? It's always going to be a mix of your credit score, which shows your ability to borrow money and repay the debt. Well, I think it's stupid. You probably have a crappy credit score. Well, yeah, but Kris, you don't understand. Maybe you're special. But Kris, this is just mean. I know. But it's real. If you have a crappy credit score, you earned it. You can fix it. You can make good choices. You can be responsible with your money. You can be responsible with getting other credit cards, using them, and then paying them back, and not overextending your available credit. I did a video, you can go find it on my YouTube, on how to get your credit good. If you go on anything that I post, I even have a DIY freaking credit link so you can repair your credit and look at your credit and fix your credit and learn about credit. If your credit sucks, it's your fault. Okay. So let's say you're put together, and somebody that you care about, because there's always somebody that you care about, comes to you and says, hey, you're put together. I'm not. I'm irresponsible. Can we use your stuff? And I promise this time I'll be responsible so you don't get screwed. Responsible person. And people fall for it all the time because, you care. Co-signing isn't just helping someone get approved. You're basically taking on the legal responsibility for that debt. Okay? From a mortgage lender's perspective, that debt may be your debt too. Depending on the situation, it may be your debt too. They're going to view it as your debt. And it can affect how much house you qualify for, if you qualify at all sometimes. So now let's go back to scenario that I gave you earlier, the sisters. Sister A, she ended up going into default, got out of default, and has, I think it was a ridiculous amount. Ever since out of default, like 28 lates, still 28 lates over the last 2 years. So typically what we could do is we can look at sister B and say, the good sister, right? we could say, hey, Sister B, well, check it out. We're going to look at Sister A's, all the payments that are made, and we're going to look at everybody's financials, and we're going to be able to show that you've never been responsible to that debt. Now, if Sister A had done right by her Sister B, and she was making payments and being responsible and everything, we could have removed that debt, removed Sister A's home debt from Sister B, and her debt to income absolutely would have been great. Here's the thing, even if her debt to income, let's say she makes $1 million a month and she only wants to buy a $300,000 house. Well, debt to income is not a problem, but guess what? She's still responsible for all of those freaking lates, 28 lates. So, well, yeah, but stuff gets late. Stop. You're trying to buy a house and it shows on your credit report that you don't make house payments on time. What bank wants to give you a loan for that? None. You're a risk. You don't make payments. Why in the hell would they want to give you another loan? Well, it's not my loan. It is, because you co-signed for somebody or you got on the mortgage with somebody. Even if you're not making the payments, you're still responsible. So if you're watching this and you're getting your feelings hurt, I don't care. It's honest. This is like, maybe somebody should talk to you. This is your fault. If you got crappy credit and you're irresponsible with your money. Well, that's just mean-spirited. It is, but it's real. Because here's the thing, as long as you can get to the place where you admit it, then maybe you can fix it. You can fix it. Hell, you can call me up. I'll help you out. I'll point you in the right directions. I'll introduce you to people to get your credit fixed. But it really is simply at its core, just being responsible and using the money that you borrow responsibly and not overextending yourself. It's that simple. So what else? What else does co-signing actually mean? It means you're agreeing to, so I got little notes over here. So, because if you watch any of my videos, I start going down a rabbit hole. I'll be here for like an hour, right? So the notes kind of keep me on track. So what does co-signing actually mean? It means you're agreeing to repay the debt if the primary borrower does not. If the primary borrower, same thing, Sister A, if they don't do it, you're responsible. You're on the dime. So that's auto loans, that's mortgages, that's student loans, that's personal loans. Now, here's the one where it really rubs. If you're a parent and you're watching this, this is who I see usually get taken for a ride. I know you love your children. I have children too. If you look at my personal Facebook, I have my children everywhere. If one of my children get to a place to where they're irresponsible, they got to deal with it. My father, I remember when I was in the Marine Corps, and I did 20 something years in the Marine Corps, almost 21 years. I was a young PFC and I had learned about signature loans. So I went to the bank and I got some money and I burned through it. Cause I think back then we only made like $500 a month. Right. So I was like, damn, I'm getting like 2-3 months of pay. And all I got to do is sign my signature and I just pay it back, Well, I got in trouble. I was still burning through all my cash. And then I burned through all that cash and I had to make payments. So I called my dad. And my dad just basically says, well, that was stupid. Well, son, I did my part. I put you together. I sent you out into the world and you're a responsible adult. You're in the Marine Corps. You got a job. You're going to have to figure this out. And then he hung up on me. Parents, if you want your children to grow up and be financially responsible, you should probably get them some education. Okay? And here's the thing. It's possible sometimes parents that are watching some of the stuff that I do, they're irresponsible. But if you're the responsible parent and they're seeking for you to help them, they want your help, whether it's a car, a mortgage, a refrigerator. I always say that because you get loans for refrigerators, for microwaves, for ovens, all sorts of stuff, right? And they're asking you to help out. They need to fix their own stuff. And you can hit me up. I'll help you out. Same thing, parents. But if you're going to do it, I need to make sure that if you're going to help out the individual that has already been shown to be irresponsible, you need to go in eyes wide open. You're agreeing to repay the debt if the primary borrower does not. Auto loans, mortgages, student loans, personal loans, pretty much any type of loan. You're on the dime. You're responsible to it. So how does it affect your debt to income ratio? Well, I've already told you. If it's a car, let's say the monthly payment is $700 and they're not paying it. Well, guess what? Or let's say they are paying it. Doesn't matter. When I get your credit report, okay, and you're looking to buy a house, guess what I see on your credit report? $700 a month. Oh, well, yeah, but that's actually my son's. Not according to your credit report. It says right here, that's yours. Well, I don't make the payments. Well, hold on a second. You're on the dime to make the payments. If they don't pay it, you have to pay it. So I have to take into account the $700 as a potential. As a potential that you're on the dime for it. Therefore, that cuts into your total debt to income, which brings down your ability, your total purchase ability. Okay? So there's no getting around that one. And, let's talk about the exceptions. Cosigner debt does not always have to be counted. That is correct. I told you a scenario here a few minutes ago. If it was shown on the other end that so-and-so, and we can do the same thing with cars. Within a year, sometimes 2 years, it just depends, 1 to 2 years, if we could show that the borrower, the main borrower of that debt, has shown a past history of good financial practices where they've made those payments on time and regularly and consistently, then we could show that you didn't help them in any way, they're doing it on their own, then we typically can remove that debt from your total debt to income. We just got to basically send it off to the underwriter so they understand and show it, okay? Not always the case. I've had people say, yeah, but I don't make any payments. I know, but it's only the loan's only 3 months old. We need a history of success and consistency. Then we could usually look to remove that debt from you. Another one. So depending on the loan program, certain debts may potentially be excluded if you can document that another person has been making payments, which is what I just told you, right? So we're just going to skip that because I already talked all through it. So that's pretty much what it is. So your bank account matters. Oh, this is the money right here. Your bank account matters, okay? You can't just simply say that my son makes a payment, my sister makes a payment, or anything like that. It's a show me. I deal with this all the time. They're like, yeah, but I'm a good person. Show me. The bank does not care what's coming out of your mouth. You're trying to borrow, $100,000, $500,000, $1 million, whatever it's going to be. It's still money, and it's not yours. And I've said this over and over and over. If you feel a way about it, save your own money. And then you can buy whatever you want in cash. But if you're going to borrow cash from somebody, it's all about show me. Yeah, but you just got to take my word. No, we don't. Nobody's going to take your word for it because they don't know you. All they got is that credit score. Your credit shows us who you are. Your total income shows us who you are, and your history of work, so we can project the future of income, and then your debt shows us who you are. Period. That's all they have to go on. So it's a show me situation. If you are not making payments or something like this, show me. We're going to look at your bank accounts. We're going to go through everything. We're going to try to look at past bank history. We're going to have to show physically that this is truth. And if it ain't in black and white, it's not truth. It's just hearsay. All right. So I just want to leave you with this. Long story short, co-signing, it can affect your credit. Okay. It can affect your credit. It can affect your ability to borrow your own money because you were trying to hook somebody else up. I'm telling you, it's almost always a parent to a child. Sometimes it's siblings, both ways. Sometimes it's a child to their parent, trying to hook up their parent. That's a tough one. I just dealt with one last month. The son wanted to take care of his mother, and unfortunately, his mom is irresponsible. And it sucks because I hate to say it that way because it sounds so mean. But if you strip away the pride and the feel goods, the truth is she was irresponsible with her money. And son was trying to take care of her. And it's not my place to tell them they can or can't. But I just wanted to do this video so you go in eyes wide open that if you're going to look out for somebody, just understand it can cut you and it can hurt you and take away all of your ability to take care of yourself and do the things that you need to take care of for you and yours, you and your family. Okay. So this is another good one. Can I just take my name off later? No, usually not. It's not that simple. You generally can't just call the creditor and say, hey, just take me off. Because you got to look at it from this standpoint. The primary borrower, right? You were in it to win it with them. So in order to take you off, the bank is going to have to go back to the primary borrower and say, hey, we're going to have to refinance or do something to show that you have the ability on your own. Otherwise, mommy, sister, sibling, something, they're staying on the dime. because we need to make sure it's guaranteed that you're going to make payments. Because if you don't, we're going after them. That's it. So you can't just call up and say, I'm just over it. I just take me off of that. No, you got paperwork. Unless the primary borrower sorts it out themselves. So, before you co-sign, think about your own plans. Are you planning to buy a house? Are you planning to refinance something? Are you buying an investment property? Are you purchasing a car? Any of that stuff. If you are, I'm telling you, you may not want to. I know it may hurt. It may not be what you want to hear. It may not be, what it is. But the biggest takeaway, co-signing, question. I'm helping them get pre-approved. But really what you're saying is I'm agreeing to be responsible to the debt. That's where the brain kind of skips a beat. It's like, no, I don't mind doing it because I'm helping them get approved. No, you're agreeing to be responsible for the debt. That's the truth. And their irresponsibility could hurt you. So that's all I got. Closing thoughts. If you got a family member or something like that, or even a close friend, sometimes the best way you can love them is to tell them the truth. And they really probably need to try to sort it out and figure it out on their own. Because there's typically a reason why they're in it. Now, I'll give one caveat. And I just dealt with this one. It's a mother who has great credit, lower income, no debt. A son, and she's older, much older, okay? You have a son who has great credit, good income, low debt. He wants to help mom go in on the mortgage to buy the loan. So it shows his income to ensure she can get it. She can't cover the cost of the payments, but she wasn't going to get approved on her own. His way of looking at it, when he and I talked, she's going to pass. I can help her make payments on that house, and she's going to have a safe place that she loves, that she can feel at peace with for whatever time she has left. And when she passes, that will just become one of my rental properties that I own. That is a good way of looking at it. If you're going to co-sign for somebody or go on a mortgage with somebody, always try to look at it from an investment angle, but make sure you're going into business with somebody that is already put together, not somebody that's already been shown to be irresponsible. That's all I got. I appreciate you, and I hope this video helped out. If it did, do me a favor, leave some comments for me. I like to reply to those, and or share it, like it, subscribe. All right, talk to you later.